So by employing the techniques on the video that John Coker made, I was able to produce a pretty decent carbon fiber tube. However, without the experience, I had some issues with epoxy not penetrating the material all the way. As a result, if I can find one here, I have some areas that didn't quite get filled with the epoxy, and as you can see, or maybe you can't see, they don't have that nice shiny look to them. But I have found a way to fix that. Maybe you can see as I slowly rotate the tube where it doesn't reflect the light. Right there. It's where the cloth is saturated, but there wasn't enough to make contact with the mylar that I had wrapped around the surface of the tube. So I'm going to fill that and show you a way that you can do that. I've got some mylar 0.005 inch or whatever kids are calling it these days. I've cut a little chunk off, some masking tape, and if you wanted to be cool, you'd probably be using some nice laminating epoxy, but for this little patch job, I'm just going to use some Harbor Freight 5-minute epoxy. Part A, Part B. I really have too much. It only takes a dab to do this. Let's get that mixed up. Okay, the epoxy's mixed. What I'm going to do is put a piece of tape on this little piece of mylar. Make sure the mylar is centered over the area of the defect that needs to be fixed. Take that onto the tube, flip it back. It really doesn't take too much epoxy to do this, but I want enough on there to make sure that it's completely filled up. Scrape off the excess. Take another piece of tape and bring that piece of mylar over, pull it down really tight, take that on and let it set there until the epoxy is fully cured. I have an example here of one that didn't work out as well. You can see that dull spot where I pulled off the mylar too soon before it fully cured. Okay, here my thumb is pointing to a spot. You can't see it on the camera. If you catch it just right, you can see the edges of the epoxy, but it's a spot about the size of a quarter where I'd filled in and used that technique to make the tube look nice. So until you get the skills down, I thought this might be a helpful way to show you how that you can fix a tube that has some minor defects in it. Now, because it was short of epoxy when I made this tube, there are little pinholes throughout, but from a distance of 2 feet, you can't see them. So good luck and happy building.